Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the Marion City Council work session for Tuesday, March 17, 2026. Welcome to our newly refreshed council chambers. First on the agenda this afternoon is a presentation from the Marion Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Mayor and City Council. I want to first of all thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share an update on the work of the Marion Chamber of Commerce. Our mission is to serve as an advocate for the business community while helping create an environment where businesses thrive and residents can achieve the highest quality of life. I first would like to introduce Jared Cast, our board chair for 2026. Jeannie Matthews is on our board as well. And then we have a couple staff members here. Tammy Peck is our membership specialist, and Lacey Schrader is, of course, our Uptown Marion Main Street director. Our work is guided by 4 strategic pillars that align closely with the city's priorities. Those include membership, community development and tourism, leadership and business development, and advocacy and communication. These pillars allow us to strengthen Marion's business climate, activate community spaces, build leadership capacity, and ensure the voice of business is represented in community conversations. I'll start first with membership, which is really the foundation of the Chamber's work. So in 2025, we welcomed 87 new chamber members, representing one of the strongest recruitment years we've had to date. There's a list of all of them. Our goal was to reach 350 members, and I'm proud to share that we exceeded that goal and are now at 385. That represents a 117% increase in new members compared to the previous year. The addition of Tammy as our membership specialist certainly has paid off, and this growth reflects a strong engagement from Marion's business community and a shared commitment to the success of our local economy. Beyond membership growth, we continue to invest in programs that help businesses succeed. Networking events like Wake Up Marion, our BizMix, speed networking, and our new member mixers create opportunities for businesses to connect and collaborate. We also expanded professional development through the Marion Business Academy, offering leadership and workforce training in partnership with Kirkwood Training and Corporate Outreach. And then if you look at the slide, all of the items in blue are just kind of a sampling of some of the classes that we've offered in the last year. And through Marion Leadership in Action, we continue to develop the next generation of community leaders. I want to show a video here. Currently, we have 3 city employees that are participating in Marion Leadership in Action, which is our 9 month now. Actually, it's 10 months now. Our 10-month leadership program that we cap at 15 people, so 15 people from the business community and from nonprofits, government agencies. They all come together to do a lot of community training. And this year we have Tom Fagan, Matt Newhouse, and Matt Morris all participating. And on their first day of class, we do a lot of team building. And so we had all of the groups do some videos on popular social media trends. And so this was Tom's group. Oh, you can't hear it. There you go.
Can we see that again?
Sure. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. I can't make it go again, Steve. Sorry. Chief Fagan had such rad moves. Also in the video were Jim Kibble, he's from Timberline Manufacturing, and Mary Francic from Creative Planning. Oh, maybe I could have made it go again. Anyway, one of the most rewarding parts of our work is celebrating business growth. Over the last 12 months, the Chamber helped celebrate 37 business openings and expansions. These milestones are tangible reminders that Marion continues to be a place where businesses love to invest, and all of you know that already. Community development and tourism is the next pillar. The Marion Welcome Center continues to serve as the front door for our community. And after updating the space and expanding our retail offerings in partnership with Linmar's Venture Academics program, we've experienced really some excellent results. In 2025, the Welcome Center generated nearly $33,000 in retail sales, exceeding our goal of $20,000 and representing a 119% year-over-year increase. It's become both a tourism hub and a place where residents and visitors celebrate their Marion pride. This year, we also introduced a new placemaking tool, the Celebration Screen, which is a 10 by 17 foot mobile LED screen. This will support community events like movies, concerts, tailgates, and other large community gatherings. The screen will be used collaboratively by the chamber and the city to enhance programming at the Central Plaza and other locations throughout Marion. So if you look at the blue square, the city is already programmed out where they intend to use the screen, and then the right is where the chamber plans to use the screen. So we're going to start using it this spring. This year, the Chamber and Uptown Marion collaborated with the City of Marion and Medco to purchase a full membership with Placer AI. This technology allows us to track attendance and demographic data of events and places. There are a million ways that we're going to be able to use this new tool, but for the purpose of tourism, we like studying event attendance. So this slide shows how Christmas in the park really has grown. For example, this is showing 24 over 2025. In 2024, we had 6,100 visitors at Christmas in the park. And in 2025, we had 7,700 visitors, which was a 26% increase in 1 year. So I think that really shows the impact that the plaza has had on that event and just the general traffic in Marion. And looking back further, attendance has grown by more than 50% since 2019. So that shows really just an overall impact, again, of the plaza, but also of the streetscape. Events like Uptown Get Down, our farmers markets, Oktoberfest, and Chocolate Walk bring thousands of people to Marion who are also supporting local businesses while they're here. We also continue to support business development and attraction. This year, we successfully restructured our Small Business Champions program to better support our small business community. And really, this opened up just a lot more opportunity for smaller businesses to sponsor business type programming and get their name out there. We also added Field to Fork to represent the ag sector, which, as you all know, is very important to Iowa and Lynn County. Our first event is coming up in June, and we'll offer a behind-the-scenes look at Iowa's pork industry, beginning with a bus tour of a working hog operation, followed by lunch and a panel discussion that will include pork producers, processors, grocery leaders, and ag lenders. We will rotate the focus annually, moving from hogs to dairy to beef cattle to crops, probably chickens and whatever animal you want to follow. In February, we launched the Marion Business Expo, a new event connecting local businesses with each other and with the community at large. We had 32 businesses participate. We received great feedback from the business community as well as the community members who were able to attend that. And I really expect that this will be something that we continue to do year after year and just grow it and make it better. The Chamber played a role in helping bring several new businesses to Marion, including Club Pilates, Sonnet Montessori, Bartini, and several others. And we also work closely with the city on advocacy and communication. Over the past year, we helped gather business support for Tower Terrace Road through the collection of letters from the business community. I served on the Wayfinding Steering Committee. Lacey participated on the Uptown Parking Implementation Task Force. and helped communicate updates regarding the 7th Avenue East construction. And we will continue to play a key role helping with construction communication as we did with the streetscape and the 7th Avenue West project a few years ago. Moving forward, we will also support community conversations around the landfill, the proposed aquatic center, and any other emerging priorities. Our role, again, is to help bring business and community leaders to the table to amplify accurate information. And of course, none of this happens without a strong team. I will say our staff is all in when it comes to Marion, and our volunteers, our board members, our committee members and event volunteers are all aligned around clear goals, and we're all committed to delivering results for the Marion community. So with that, I will just close by saying thank you again for the opportunity to present to you. The progress we're seeing in Marion is the result of strong partnerships with the City of Marion, Medco, the Chamber, Uptown Marion, and as well as all of our businesses and community volunteers. The Chamber is proud to play a role in helping Marion grow as one of the most vibrant communities in Iowa. And I appreciate your time. We're so thankful for the city's support, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, so Councilmember Jensen wanted me to ask about the boomers to zoomers training.
Yes, that's just, you know what that is? That is training, just generational training on dealing with different management styles and attitudes in the workplace.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
We should maybe sign up.
We already did it, but we can bring it back, Grant, if you really want to.
I just have a quick question for you, Jill. So first of all, congrats on all the growth. The percentages are really great to see from new businesses to events and all the things in between. But for you, what are the things that you think are kind of the biggest challenges in 2026 or the biggest opportunities?
I think that just everything that's happening in the world, anytime that there's uncertainty, it makes businesses nervous. I think we still hear that there's issues with workforce. And so, we're focused on, again, trying to make, number one, Marion a great place where people want to be so that people move here and we have workplace to pick from, but also supporting the workers and supporting the businesses once they're here with high quality training, which you see we made that move to using Kirkwood corporate training. That allows us to provide, we pay our trainers, it's high quality training, and it provides a real benefit to our businesses. Those are dollars that they don't have to be paying out. And then, again, looking at things like, the impacts that the landfill expansion may have. If we don't expand it, it could have a big impact on people's property taxes. And so reaching out to the businesses, figuring out where they sit on the issues and making sure that we're representing their voice is probably going to be another big thing that we're going to focus on this year. And then finally, of course, the 7th Avenue expansion east. Anytime we do construction, that disrupts business. And as we learned with both the 7th Avenue West and the streetscape projects, it all comes down to communication. And I think what happened with the streetscape communication just a couple years ago, that was just so well done and well done by the city. I think, Brooke led that for us, and we didn't lose any businesses during that process. And that is just unheard of. And so we'll just be looking to replicate that same plan.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill, I think we all know how important a very active Chamber of Commerce is to every community. So I'm glad to see a couple of the new activities that you talked about with the Marion Business Expo and the new celebration screen. So we'll see how those continue to do in the future.
Yeah, we're excited.
One item I got a question about that I've heard something that I want you to just clarify for us on the BizMix.
Yeah.
Which I think is an important aspect of the chamber. When I was at Vector, we always celebrated that and we're involved in that.
Yep.
So I think it's important, but Is how that is being done in the future changing as it functions or operates between Cedar Rapids and Marion? And if so, can you explain it?
Sure. Yep. It's a good question. So the EA has they're just making some changes to how they do fundraising. They were seeing a need to raise additional funds. And so the only thing they're really doing to change the BizMix process, which is a shared event between the two of us, is to add a second event. And I can't remember if it's every month or to three. I think it's really just to three events. So the 3 months that are in Marion, we do the July, the November, and the April BizMix.
Right.
BizMix. On those months, there'll just be a second BizMix.
Okay, so it's really just adding on top of it, layering.
Yep.
Okay, I had heard something and I wasn't quite sure what the explanation was, so I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that was clarified.
Yeah, it's a
So-
good question. And I will say too, our morning events, our Wake Up Marion events have really grown. Like we used to get 10 to 12 people to those and we're pushing 50 or so now. So
Very
that's good to see that grow.
All right, keep it up.
Thank you.
First, thank you to the chamber. I know it's a small team doing a lot. So we appreciate all that you bring and all the people that you bring to the community. Can you elaborate on if a business or a nonprofit is looking to find volunteers or those next generation leaders that we need to plug in? How does one find that? Or how is that opportunity delivered to the people who are going through the program? Like what?
You mean like Marion Leadership in Action?
Yes, yeah.
So, well, first of all, we always keep a list of all the folks that have gone through Marion Leadership in Action. And at this point, it's well over 200. And so anytime that somebody comes to us looking for leaders, that's our automatic go-to list because they already have a nice baseline of information about our community because they've spent 8 or 9 months learning all about it. And then we also do a little bit more digging and just see what their skills are and what they like, what might be a good fit. But then in terms of teaching that class, what opportunities there are to volunteer and get engaged in the community, we have a whole session based on civic involvement. We bring in different civic organizations, the Rotaries, the Lions Clubs, the Marion Cares, both foundations, and we do a whole session on getting engaged in the community.
Great. I know there's a hope with a lot of people to reach out and find those folks who are ready to step up as the next generation of board members.
Yes.
Active folks in the
I'm
community.
always scanning the boards and commissions for the city to see like who could we fit in and
That would be great.
try to keep those people top of mind.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you so much. One more thing that I just wanted to let you guys know. So last weekend we had the We Parade and KCRG followed it. We made people.com. And then I also heard that we were on GMA this morning. And then before that, Lacey had someone send her a clipping from her grandmother's newspaper in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it said Christmases across the US. And there's a big old picture of Uptown Marion during Christmas in the park. And it showed the beautiful plaza. So we're making headlines, you guys. Thank you for all that you've done to invest in our community. Thank you.
Next item is a presentation on the Public Safety Training Center.
Just need to switch things over here quickly.
Okay. Sure.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Chief McBurney and I are here this afternoon to provide an update on one of the capital projects that we have underway, which is the construction of a public safety training center. Just to tee this up, training of our staff, and when I say our staff, Team Marion staff, has been identified as a strategic initiative historically. Team Marion, ensuring that our team is trained, equipped to do the job and provide for the great services that we provide to our residents is something that's been prioritized by our community. And this project, and I think the vision and the outcomes that are going to come in the years to come are really going to be commensurate with that. So excited to provide this update. So this afternoon, we're going to go over the status and the use of the structures. There's a couple pictures on the screen just to orientate you and those who may be watching online. The location of the Public Safety Training Center is located on the Public Works site off of 44th Street, kind of in the southern part of the city. You'll see two structures there. We're going to go over both structures. Chief McBurney will talk about the different types of training that occurs and why there are two separate structures, as that's critically important. We're going to talk about the monument sign and a naming recommendation for your consideration. We're going to provide an update on the timeline for completion and then what's next to come. Almost forgot. As we're going through these two structures, one thing to keep in mind that is really the synergy of the location for the center is the proximity to the Public Works facility. So these two structures, as you're seeing, the brick one and the two-story gray-looking structure, that's where we're doing a lot of the practical training evolutions. But how that is really complemented based on its proximity to the Public Works facility is the training room within the Public Works facility. So prior to going out and doing training, we can utilize that space with our partners. We have restroom facilities in there. There's additional parking over there as well. And it really just complements the space and the location of the training to have a classroom with technology and then being able to go out and apply those skills out onto the training grounds. So you can see that facility just a little bit further in the background there. Okay, so the first structure that we're going to talk about is the training tower. It is a taller structure of the two. It's a 4-story training tower capable of numerous evolutions, even beyond the fire service. This facility allows for practice of technical mechanics of critical tasks, such as fire hose line movement in buildings, search and rescue, smoke ventilation, and forcible entry. The structure includes a theatrical smoke distribution system and modular walls to create dynamic room configurations for nearly limitless creative scenarios. This building allows firefighters to refine technique and skill, which translates to greater efficiency, effectiveness, and safer operations in the emergency setting. So Chief McBurney, if you wanted to come up and talk a little bit about some of the training that we've already have conducted over the past few months, and then what's teed up in the coming months and even in the future years.
Yep. So far with the building, we've actually had several different training activities there. As you can see here, where they're rappelling out one of the windows, our technical rescue team that we were working to get those developed to a full technician level. We had the REACT Center from Wisconsin come down and do a Rope 1 class that teaches the basic awareness and operations of rope. So they were utilizing the facility to train our 15 members in rope rescue. Along with that, we've done some testing for fire hose. We were in the process of purchasing some new fire hose, so we wanted to make sure we were using the most appropriate hose. This building was also used by our crews. It got well washed. They washed the inside of that building very well, testing fire hose and trying it out. It just gives them that ability to be able to go in and stretch that hose through a building and spray water and do a lot of that different stuff. Besides that, the guys have been down laddering the building and doing a few other things with it throughout this winter as we've progressed along. They're also doing some work with practicing with the tower ladder, making sure everybody's well trained on that as well. Some of the things that we do have coming up for this building is our CERT training that we do for our CERT team. We're working in cooperation with Lane County EMA and their CERT team as well. We'll be doing our basic training for CERT members coming up here in the next, in May. Then in June, we have a scenario set up for the two teams to work together, and it'll take place down in this facility as well. In June, we also have the REACT Center coming back down to do rope 2 for our technical rescue team, as well as we're going to be doing confined space training here the first week of April for all of our firefighters. So ropes, confined space, those types of things are, the department is taught to the operations level. So our technical rescue team will teach the department, and we'll utilize this building for doing a lot of that. So we have a lot of other things that are coming up, a lot of things in the works. A class set up here in this fall. Hopefully that all gets going here without any issues. But we are working with a number of different organizations. Fire Nuggets is a national organization that helps line up speakers and instructors and stuff, and they're the ones we're working with to try to bring in a well-known group of individuals to do some training for us this fall. As well as we're both on Kirkwood Community College's fire education side. We're on their committee for lining up their training and stuff. So, but we're working closely with Kirkwood, trying to arrange for some future training to take place at our facilities as well. So that's kind of where we're at with the training challenge.
Yes, and thanks, Chief McBurney. And lots more, as you can tell, there's a lot that's already happening, a lot that's planned, a lot that's being teed up even for this fall. And the project's not even done yet. So there's a lot of excitement surrounding it for sure. Okay, so the second structure is a live burn structure. The live burn structure is a 2-story building designed and constructed for live fire evolutions. This building is solely used for live fire training. Due to the contaminants resulting from combustion and the off-gassing of materials, this building is only used when proper personal protective equipment is in place and provides a real-world live fire environment for firefighters to observe fire dynamics, the impacts of flow path, and apply skills towards the completion of critical tasks when in the live fire environment. When firefighters are complete with their training evolutions here, their gear must be decontaminated and cleaned, no differently than in any other fire environment. This is to minimize the contamination to our team, equipment, and also isolates contaminants out of the training tower. So we talked about the 2 different structures and the specific use and why there are 2 structures that are separate from one another. Historically, a lot of the training buildings were just one building, and they may be doing live fire in the one structure. But due to the identification of the contaminants and the off-gassing and the toxins associated with the smoke and toxins associated with that and the long-term impacts on firefighters, what we want to do is we want to isolate that away from where we're working on our regular mechanics. If you recall when I was sharing about the tower, that's where we really dial in our skills. That's where we dial in our mechanics to really polish the work that we do. And then what we can do is transition over to the live fire environment and apply those skills in that space. By isolating that live burn structure environment, it also allows us to do more training with other partners in the space that isn't contaminated. That way we can keep that building clean for whether it's our CERT team, our mutual aid partners, as I said, even beyond the fire service, law enforcement, public works, any type of training that we would do in that building is kept away from that toxic exposure. The City of Marion has established policy for the uniform consideration of naming requests of city property to ensure it's compatible with community interest and will enhance the values and heritage of the City of Marion. The following 6 criteria are from Section 3, subsection I, and should be considered with naming of facilities. naming after individuals, groups, or families. I want to bring special attention to a few of these, criteria 3, 5, and 6, as it pertains to a proposed naming consideration. Criteria 3, made substantial contributions to the betterment of the city of Marion that has positively impacted the lives of citizens of the city of Marion. Number 5, commemorates a significant historical event. And number 6, contributed outstanding civic volunteer service to the city for a minimum period of 10 years. The background and construction of the training center is historically significant, but pales to the life of service by Don and his wife, Mary Ruth DeVault. Don DeVault served the city of Marion as a volunteer member of the fire department for approximately 58 years, beginning in the spring of 1946 until his passing in 2004. During that time, Don also served 22 years as a volunteer with the police department from 1950 until 1972. At the time of their passing, Don and Mary Ruth donated $900,000 to the Marion Firefighters Association to be used towards a large project. The association invested the money and planned to someday build a training tower to help train future responders, elevating safety for the city of Marion. After several years of investment by the Firefighters Association, the original donation of $900,000 grew to a value of $1.3 million, and a proposed capital project was developed as part of the FY24 capital improvement plan with a broader vision of a public safety training center in Marion. The multi-year capital project came to life as part of the FY24 CIP and is nearing completion in the spring of 26. With over 5 decades of volunteer service to the Marion Fire Department and over 2 decades of volunteer service to the Marion Police Department, this is a substantial contribution towards the safety of Marion residents and businesses. The name DeVault, reflecting that level of commitment to service, resonates, honoring Marion and its heritage with the commissioning of this state-of-the-art training center. It is the recommendation to consider the naming of the tower at the Marion Public Safety Training Center as the DeVault Tower. The sign design, reflecting the home of the DeVault Tower, is aligned with city sign standards. City staff has reviewed and approved the sign design application, and per city policy, there will be a 30-day review period along with a public hearing planned for April 23rd regarding the naming consideration. On the screen, you'll see the design concept there, and then the star on the photo shows the location of the access road that leads up to the training structures. There is an additional sign that is at the roadway at 44th at the entrance to the Public Works facility that will articulate Marion Public Works. And then there's also an identifier there that the Public Safety Training Center is on site as well. So final timeline for project completion. The great news is we're on the final straightaway. As you're aware, this has been a multi-year project with decades of planning even prior to that. We're at the stage we're at a final bid package, which will include electrical to the training tower to provide energy to that theatrical smoke machine inside the building, which is pretty neat. We have the ability to control smoke in rooms for different evolutions. And then it also provides electrification for lighting around the site as well, and then lighting for the monument side. Construction is planned to start as soon as possible. As soon as that bid package is awarded, that would be brought back to council for approval. And then as soon as that's done, we're ready for ribbon cutting and ready to move forward on the exciting things next with training. There's so much potential with this. We were talking about the emergency services training and opportunities regionally. Chief McBurney shared the regional fire nuggets conversation that we're having with several agencies. But even looking beyond that, regular cadence of training involving our mutual aid partners just continues to broaden that the capabilities and networking and collaboration that Team Marion's all about. So with that, we'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead.
Marvelous facility. I'm looking forward to the tour. But before these facilities were constructed, where would you have to go to do all of this type of training?
So this is where Chief McBurney, as we have historically tried to find where to do live fire training.
Yeah.
It's been tough. It's been tough. And it isn't until you have somebody that's trying to burn down a structure or something.
Right.
But even based on that, there are still zoning and legal implications on where that can happen and where that can't happen. But Chief McBurney, if you want to talk about historically where we have done live fire training and or have done some of the technical rescue training that we've recently been able to hold here in Marion.
Normally, what we've done in the past is anytime a house come available in Marion that somebody offered it to us, we haven't been able to burn it, but they usually have allowed us to go in, and we kind of start out with just search and rescue training and then as they get closer to demolishing that building, then we get into more destructive training where we tear the house apart. Other than that, to be able to do live fire training, we've actually had to go out in the township where we're able to burn more houses, but there is a whole process of asbestos testing, getting approval from the homeowners, getting approval from the DNR, getting approval from the Lynn County Health Department. So there is a whole set of things that you've got to go through to be able to do that. And then once you have it, you have just a short period of time usually to be able to do that. So
none of that is involved with this?
None of that is involved with this.
Great.
Because it is a more controlled environment, we don't have, asbestos isn't an issue because there's nothing in the building that way. So it does allow us to be able to go and do, in my last talks with Lynn County Health Department, it isn't producing that much smoke to where they were concerned about, us having to get, to jump through a bunch of hoops there for that. So it's, in the past, that's where it's been, or having other departments, because usually when you do a controlled burn, it takes a lot of personnel to be able to do that. It's tankers and other engines and, everything you do has to meet certain parameters. So even when we would do one, we would have to bring in multiple people from other departments. So we do have that opportunity occasionally to be able to go out and help others with it. But when we have control of it, it's a lot nicer because we can fit things in accordingly.
So I'm assuming this is going to be a tremendous asset to other fire departments in eastern Iowa. But we may have asked this question in the past when we initially talked about the project for CIP, but how many other training facilities like this are there in the state of Iowa?
Like this one?
Or similar to it.
Right now, really, it would be probably Kirkwood has a smaller one to some extent, but they don't have the clean and dirty building. The Fire Service Training Bureau out in Johnston, they have some stuff there. There have been a few places. I know Mount Vernon just built a burn building, but they don't have that ability to do clean and dirty type training. So in eastern Iowa, this is probably a unique building.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you.
Great.
Two questions. The first one, what's the source of combustion in the live fire building?
So what we do is inside of the design, the Draeger building that we got, what it is inside that building, we use OSB plywood, and that goes on the walls and it goes on the ceiling and the back wall. So that becomes kind of our package of fuel package. We get that started by taking 2 to 3 pallets and we cut those up. We use 3 or 4 2x4s in there, and then we put a bunch of boards down into a barrel. That barrel is then lit, and then that barrel starts to provide that ignition source that then catches the OSB on fire. So typically the way that is set up, that we have two different sized rooms. We have a 10 by 8, and then we have a 5 by 8 building, our burn room. The two top ones, as you can see there, those are the half burn rooms. The bottom left-hand side, that would be a full burn room. The full burn room, that fuel package in there is equivalent to a love seat completely burning up. The other two, the fuel package is fairly equivalent to having a recliner burn up. So it's not a huge big fire, but it gives us, we have the ability to be able to control a lot of that environment and make the smoke kind of do a few things, bank it down, let it flash over a little bit. So that's what we do is OSB and pallets.
All right. Thanks for that description. The second question I have is, does this have any use for police tactical training in the future? And I guess I don't even know exactly what we do with that. Chief Sprague, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but it seems to me there's some potential utility of this structure for police training related activities.
Probably not with the live burn structure because we wouldn't have the gear to use that facility, but the other facility there, definitely we'd use that, especially with the movable walls for our SRT team to be able to practice. And right now we're using Garfield Elementary, which has been closed down, and probably move over to Starry here pretty soon. But this will be a great facility for us to be able to use.
So my question is, when other departments use it, is there a fee involved?
So we do have an automatic aid agreement with Cedar Rapids, which does include the hold harmless elements for training, collaborative training. We are looking at for when other agencies want to do live fire training within our facility, what that fee schedule will look like. So we do have a training cadre of individuals who are receiving the specific training to facilitate live burn evolutions, and there's a cost to their time. And so in order to do that and facilitate that, we want to ensure that as we do that, there is no direct impact to the city of Marion cost-wise. We want to make sure that those outside agencies are covering that expense. Now, there's value created, no doubt, through that collaboration, but we are working still to identify what will that cost be. But the plan is to use the overtime rates of staff that would be required to facilitate the training to clearly cover that, as well as the supplies and all of the things to do it.
That's what supplies, materials, whatever it is. I don't know how you make smoke, but I mean, there's got to be some cost to it. So somehow that's going to be covered through fees so that the city isn't incurring that for other departments to train.
Right.
Okay, that was my question. And what a great way to honor Don and Ruth. Are either of them alive? Oh, okay.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
They passed away in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And at
yeah, I figured that, and I remember when the gift came to the city, so that was a long time ago. Okay, well, I'm sure their family's pleased with that, or would be pleased when they learn about it. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Mayor Nick, just briefly, and I can follow up with you, Grant, but the technical specifications of our fire packages are very regimented. We do have the ability to use the different burn rooms, but for the consistency of the fuel packages and the energy that comes off of those, it's very regimented, and we have an entire policy that is followed every single time for the consistent application of those fuel packages. So, and that was working with Draeger and the engineers of the building. So, but we can talk more about it, but it's pretty simple fuel, but it's consistently just cut wood. Yep.
Go ahead.
Out of curiosity, when you do a live burn there, will like a notification go out to the community to say, hey, there's going to be a burn on this day at this time, so that you don't get a bunch of phone calls with people saying there's a fire?
So the first time that we did it during the the final completion of the construction of that building, we didn't know what type of smoke column we were going to get, the first time this thing goes. It actually isn't that identifiable. We're going to continue to provide those updates through our communication channels just to create general awareness. But the smoke that's generally produced out of there is different than a lot of the smoke that you would see from like a working structure fire. There's a lot of hydrocarbons in those buildings that produce much darker smoke, as you can see in this building. You can see the smoke is a little bit lighter gray, maybe a light tinge of brown. But in a working structure fire, that's where you really see a different type of smoke. But it still is something that we'll be communicating through our information channels to share.
The other thing too, the location of the facility kind of puts us in the middle of all we're not right out next to a lot of people, and there's a lot of the other businesses around there that are actively working when we're doing that. So it's pretty visible right next to it. But once you start getting further away, that smoke really dissipates as it goes away.
Interesting.
The questions? Appreciate the update. Thank you. Okay, on to the agenda review. There are 2 items marked by staff. We'll take those first and then come back to any other questions. On page 4, D10. Mike?
Yes, Your Honor. So give a little background on this one. We had a resident that opened his sewer bill, and this is what he opened it up to, of $3,000 versus the much lower one that probably most of us are used to. Previous to that, he did find out that somehow his spigot on the outside of his house was turned on and left on. So he had a very soggy yard. So they have since made sure that was shut off. Water department has gone by a couple times to make sure it has not turned back on. So in this case, that water did not get into the sewer system. So normally that's how that's billed is we take the amount that goes through the water meter, we add a factor to that, and that's what the sewer bill is then based on. So that's why we recommend people get irrigation meters for those that do water their yards. So in this case, that water did not make it into the sewer. So our recommendation is that we lower the sewer portion of that water bill, give a credit of $2,000 because we did not pay Cedar Rapids to treat that water. It was absorbed in the ground. As far as the water bill, that's between him and the water board on that. And then also directing staff, because there's no way currently for myself to handle this at the staff level. So that's why I have to bring it to city council. All of our other bills, stormwater, garbage, a lot of those, they have those things where we can deal with that at the staff level and we don't have to bring this to the council level. So we'd also like that direction to modify the ordinance so that we don't have to bring these types of things to you. But as a customer service thing, we feel this is the right thing to do.
Okay. When that happens and when it's reviewed and taken care of at the staff level, if the resident is still dissatisfied, is there an opportunity
Yeah,
to
they
come
can
to
always
council?
appeal. Yep.
Okay, so that's still a possibility if they're still unhappy or something like that. Okay. Go ahead.
Mike, as part of this, either our current process or future process, do we do any historical review of water bills to verify that in fact there's this kind of off normal condition that they're facing?
Yep. So his normal bill is about $45. So we reviewed that. And so this one, even with the 2,000 credit, would still be $58.58 for the sewer. So it'd still be higher than the normal, but normally he's getting charged the minimum amount for this resident.
What was the duration of that? Was that over a 2-month period then?
Yeah, it's the normal billing cycle. I believe that's 2 months.
Wow. Okay.
It wasn't on that entire time because I obviously noticed his yard was soggy, but it's still a surprise when you open up your water bill.
Yeah. Know what the water bill looks like.
Yeah, man. What a shock.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, so will this be on the
It's on the
agenda?
consent agenda
Yeah.
for Thursday,
Okay,
but we just
So-
talk about it.
okay. Everybody good?
Yep.
Thanks, Mike. Nicole, item E3 on page 5.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So I'm gonna go back in time to October. So thinking back to last fall, this came before you for the pole yard expansion for, at that time, it was Lynn County REC. They've now updated their name to Corridor Energy Cooperative. But we reviewed the preliminary site development plan. And during that review for the pole yard and then with the future operations building and future substation, council had asked that they go back, they look at that landscape plan and they provide renderings. With that, you had also asked that the Planning and Zoning Commission review this prior to it coming before council. And this is all happening before the final site development plan review process. So the Planning and Zoning Commission did review the landscape plan and the renderings last Tuesday at their commission meeting. So with this, just as a reminder, this is a 3-phase project, that pole yard expansion to the south of their existing pole yard. So this is the existing pole yard. That expansion south would be a part of their first phase occurring in 2026 here. Within that first phase is also this landscaping plan. The second phase would be the operations building. They're estimating 2031 for that project. And then the future substation would be 2036 roughly. With that, again, each one of those will have their own final site development plan review process that will come before the Planning and Zoning Commission and council for final consideration. So taking a look at the renderings provided, so this is looking east on 29th Avenue, kind of towards Highway 13. So as mentioned, this landscaping is included in that first phase here for this year. The renderings are showing the landscaping at their growth maturity, so keep that in mind as we go through these. And then there is also a 10-foot tall kind of decorative steel fence between the front shrubs here and the trees behind them. With that fence, there are brick columns periodically down the way. So this is looking at north from 29th Avenue, kind of towards that pole yard. To the left of the screen there, you can see kind of the top of what would be that future substation. I know back in October, it was asked if that substation could move further north on the property. As that project continues and as they get closer to knowing what size it will need to be for our future growth in the area, they'll have a better idea of, again, that size and determination if it can be shifted further to the north there. But this kind of gives that view from 29th Avenue looking north. And then this is looking kind of northwest from 29th Avenue. Again, this is more angled towards that future substation with the plantings at maturity. It is hidden behind those trees there. Now we're on Highway 13 looking south. In this area, they've got all the trees on the property side of that fence versus splitting the fence in half with shrubs on the front face of it. On Highway 13, they are looking to provide 2 different types of arborvitaes to intermix them, planting about 78 trees in this stretch. And then this is kind of looking southwest from Highway 13 towards where that future operations building would be. The one in the picture is not what the design will be of for that building. It's just that placeholder. Again, as they move closer to that timeline, they'll design out that building, figure out the scale and size that they need it, and do the architectural features as well. So at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting last Tuesday, they did recommend approval of the landscaping plan based off of what was submitted. Questions?
Go ahead, Steve.
Nicole, what verbiage is included in any agreements related to this landscaping that say after it reaches maturity or halfway there, that say a number of those trees or die out? So is there something even that far down the road that if a large section of these die out, that they would be replaced?
So we don't have an agreement necessarily with this, but it being approved in a part of the final site development plan, those are our triggers for what is required. So if they have an instance where some of them, die out, Or if they're like, hey, we just don't want these here anymore, we can come back and say, no, this plan says that you need to have them. The idea is screening it, so no, you don't just get to pull out the mature trees because you want the building to be more visible at this point. The whole point is to have them stay at that mature level. So we do have those kind of triggers. Same with any other landscaping in our code regulations.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Oh, okay. Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Nicole. Now we'll take any questions on any other item on the agenda that hasn't been marked by staff. Any questions or? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this may be for Nicole or Kim perhaps. There's several items that are citing release of funds for the Community Development Block Grant disaster recovery. I just wanted to have clarity. The sourcing of that money is through state grant, correct?
That is correct.
So we're just an administrative control point?
We're a pass through.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions on any other item on the agenda? Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of the work session. We'll see everyone on Thursday. Thank you.